How to be the only woman he can't stop thinking about? Hi, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered why some women stay in a man's mind for a long time even after the conversation has ended, while others, no matter how hard they try, slowly fade away, because what truly stays in a man's mind isn't how often you text him or how attached you appear. It's something far more subtle, something emotional, something that touches how he feels when he's alone with his own thoughts. Most women were never taught this. We were taught to be consistent, to reassure, to always be available. But few realize that at times this very behavior unintentionally erases the space. In this video we'll unravel this step by step so you can understand what truly makes a woman unforgettable, why certain emotional dynamics linger in a man's mind for so long, and how emotional connection is formed without chasing or forcing anything. Before we begin, if you'd like to hear more reflections on love, relationships, and the emotional lessons we learn at different stages of life, don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And now, let's begin with the first reason. Creating space is not about pulling away, it's about giving emotions room to breathe. There is a truth I only came to understand after many years of living and loving. Men don't form attachment because you are always there. They form it in the moments when you are not there, yet still deeply felt. I have seen many women believe that love means filling everything. Filling messages, filling time, filling every silence with care and constant presence. But emotions, like breathing, need pauses. Without them, they suffocate. When everything is always available, the mind has no chance to awaken. What makes a man remember is not constant presence, but a very gentle sense of absence, and just enough for him to wonder, to miss, to return to your image in his own mind. That is, when imagination begins to work, and imagination is always stronger than reality. Issue. There is a familiar moment many of us have lived through. You leave after a pleasant conversation, without stretching it, without explaining more. Hours later, he suddenly remembers your voice, your smile, a simple sentence you said. That is, when emotion begins to take root. Not because you tried to create it, but because you left space for it to form on its own. Women do not need to disappear to be remembered. They simply need to stop filling every empty space. And when you understand this, you begin to realize deep attraction does not come from doing more, but from knowing when to pause. And from here, we move to the next element. What happens when a man can no longer predict you? Emotion begins to lose its spark when everything keeps repeating. There is something I have observed very clearly after many years of watching relationships come and go. Feelings don't die because of a lack of love, but because they become too easy to predict and too familiar. The issue when everything follows the same rhythm. Texts at the same hour, the same kind of replies, meetings unfolding in the same way. The mind slowly switches to autopilot. There is no more anticipation, no curiosity, and no real reason to think any further. A man doesn't walk away immediately. I've seen many women believe that stability in interaction is a sign of safety. But in the early stages of connection, too much stability causes emotion to fall asleep. When he knows exactly how you'll respond, when you'll show up, and that you'll always be available in the same way. The issue breaking predictability doesn't mean playing games or becoming cold. It simply means allowing the rhythm to change naturally. Sometimes you reply quickly, sometimes a little slower. Sometimes you take the lead, sometimes you let the conversation end at just the right moment. That flexibility is what keeps emotion alive. There is a very subtle moment when he begins to wonder, I wonder what she's doing right now. That question doesn't come from anxiety, but from curiosity, and curiosity is a sign that attention is still intact. A relationship only remains compelling when it isn't turned into a habit too early. Issue emotions need room to move, rather than being locked into a fixed routine. And from here we move into a deeper layer. What happens when you no longer reveal everything about yourself from the very beginning? The issue: not everything about you needs to be shared all at once. There is a belief that I think many people only come to understand after they've been through a few relationships. Deep attachment doesn't come from knowing everything about each other too soon, but from the feeling that there is still more to discover. I've met many women who were so sincere that they opened every door right from the beginning, when sharing their past, their pain, their deepest wounds, the hoping that honesty would create connection. But what often happens is this: the man understands very quickly, and then he stops. Not because he doesn't value her, but because the human mind tends to invest more in what takes time to reach. Selective sharing isn't about hiding or manipulation. It's a sign of emotional maturity. You share when trust is strong enough. You open up when the relationship has a foundation. Issue: and each layer revealed at the right moment doesn't just keep a man present. It invites him to invest with his thoughts, his attention, and his genuine emotion. There is a very special moment when he realizes there are still parts of you he doesn't yet know, not because you are mysterious, but because you have depth. Issue: and depth makes people want to move closer, not walk away. I believe the most lasting relationships are the ones that don't rush to reveal everything. Do you agree with this perspective? If you do, please like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. And once you understand the value of revealing things at the right time, the next question naturally arises: how do you remain fully present without losing your own boundaries? Presence creates value only when it has limits. There is something I've come to see very clearly after many years of observing relationships. Presence only holds value when it is placed within boundaries. When a woman is always there, always available, always dramatizing others over her own time, the emotion may feel warm at first, but very quickly it becomes familiar. An attractive woman isn't attractive because she's hard to reach, but because she has a full life of her own. She knows what she needs, values her time, and doesn't rush to abandon that life just to always be present. This is what makes each moment she appears meaningful, not because it's rare, but because it's chosen. I've seen many women show up too much in hopes of preserving connection. When you are always available, the other person no longer needs to wait. And when there is no waiting, emotion slowly loses its original sense of appreciation. Keeping your presence full, yet limited, means that when you are there, you are truly there, attentive, undistracted, and when you are not there, you are also fully living your own life. It is this balance that creates lasting attraction. Without effort, there is a very subtle moment when he begins adjusting his time to fit yours, instead of you always adjusting to fit his. That isn't power, that's respect. The issue: and from here we move into the final, deeper layer. What makes a man not only remember you but trust you, and form a lasting bond? Issue: a man forms the deepest attachment when he feels he has value. There is something rarely spoken about, but I believe it to be true after many years of observing and experiencing relationships. Men are not only looking for love, they are looking for the feeling of being recognized. When a woman sees his effort, believes in his ability, and offers him trust in the right measure, it touches a very deep layer of a man's psychology. Words of recognition don't need to be elaborate. Sometimes it's just a simple sentence spoken at the right moment. "I see that you tried," or "I believe you can do this." Issue: when those words come from genuine respect, they become an emotional anchor. Something that draws a man back, something that makes him want to hold on to the connection longer. I've seen many relationships fall apart, not because there was no affection, but because the man slowly began to feel smaller, without a role. On the other hand, when he feels that being with you makes him a better version of himself, calmer, more responsible, more purposeful, attachment is no longer a choice, but an inner need. Trust does not mean blind faith. It means giving him the space to do things right, and also the space to learn from mistakes. Issue: that trust creates a sense of safety, where emotions can take root deeply and last over time. when he realizes that you don't just love who he is, but also believe in who he is becoming. That is, when a relationship reaches true depth. That is why recognition and trust create a bond that is more enduring than any other effort. After everything we've just walked through together, you may have noticed something very simple. To stay in a man's mind, you don't need to try to become someone else. You only need to return to your own natural rhythm, knowing when to stay, when to step back, when to open your heart, and when to give emotions room to breathe. Deep attachment isn't created through constant effort, but through the sense of peace and value two people offer each other. When a man feels respected, trusted, and becomes a better version of himself in your presence, the memory of you doesn't need to be held on to, it stays on its own. If any of this touched you at a certain moment in your life, know that you're not alone on this journey. And if you'd like to continue these slow, thoughtful conversations about love and relationships, you're welcome to gently like the video, share it if it resonated with you, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep walking together. Thanks for watching my video till now, and see you next time.